Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the graduation ceremony for the graduates of the Faculties of Arts, Education, Environmental Sciences, International Business and Politics, Law, Science, the Queensland College of Art and the Queensland Conservatorium. In a few minutes, the graduation ceremony will commence. The procession of staff and dais parties will enter. I will signal to you when you are to rise and remain standing until the staff and dais parties are seated. Please do not stand until I ask you to do so. May I also remind you that flash photography is prohibited within the auditorium, and could you please turn off all mobile phones and pages. The Chancellor, Ms. Leneen Ford, will now address us.
Mr. Chung Yu-wei, Minister of State, Executive of Yuan in the Republic of China, Justice Margaret McMurdo, President of the Queensland Court of Appeal, Professor Roy Webb, Vice Chancellor, members of the Griffith University Council, distinguished guests, graduands, ladies and gentlemen. It is customary for the university and its guests to gather as a body for the conferral of academic awards on its graduates. On behalf of the Council of Griffith University, I extend a very warm welcome to everyone present for this graduation ceremony. I extend a special welcome to Mr. Chung Yu Wei and to Justice Margaret McMurdo. Mr. Chung Yu Wei is Minister of State in the Executive Yuan of the Republic of China and will receive the honorary degree Doctor of the University. Justice McMurdo is President of the Queensland Court of Appeal and is our guest speaker today. We look forward to her address later in the proceedings. This occasion holds special significance for our graduands, and today, in the presence of family, friends, and the entire university community, your dedication and hard work is recognized and rewarded. It holds special significance for me also because it's the first graduation ceremony at which I am officiating as Chancellor of Griffith University. So if you think you're nervous, I am too. On this occasion, it is also appropriate for me to say a few words about the legacy of Sir Theodore Bray, who passed away recently. Sir Theodore was elected as the first Chancellor of Griffith University in 1975. He was a very active Chancellor and attended every meeting of the University Council from 1970 until 1985. He was passionate about the establishment of the schools of modern Asian studies and environmental studies at a time when there were no such schools at other Australian universities. After his retirement in 1985, Sir Theodore continued to contribute to the life of the university and to work in its interests. The state of Queensland and Griffith University benefited immensely from his visionary leadership and his role in setting the foundations of a university which now has an established international reputation. So I'm honoured to have been offered the Chancellorship of Griffith. It will be a challenge to follow in the footsteps of Sir Theodore and his distinguished successors, Sir Alan Sewell and the Honourable John McCrossan, as Chancellor of this progressive university renowned for its innovative and interdisciplinary approach to higher education. Griffith's breadth and diversity is manifest in this afternoon's graduating students who represent the faculties of law, environmental sciences, science, arts, international business and politics, education, the Queensland College of Art, and the Queensland Conservatorium. These cover a broad spectrum of human endeavour. It is also a matter of pride that two of these faculties, environmental sciences and international business and politics, were pioneered by Griffith and have been emulated by several other Australian universities. Griffith is one of the largest multi-campus universities in Australia, formed by an integrated network of campuses stretching from Southport on the Gold Coast to South Bank on the Brisbane River. We look forward to the year 2001 when its new campus is completed and the Queensland College of Art joins Queensland Conservatorium in Brisbane's cultural precinct in the South Bank Parklands. The university's commitment to the pursuit of excellence in teaching, research, and community service is embedded in its forward-looking approach that combines the best of university traditions and values with innovation. The hallmark of Griffith's activities is the bringing together of disciplines in the development of courses and research activities that meet the changing needs of society. Griffith's teaching and research activities are informed by the university's close links with business and the community. Griffith is also widely recognized for its commitment to equity and access and to community service. It has an international approach to education and one of the most extensive networks of international linkages in Australia. The university's international student population is the largest in Queensland. Griffith also encourages its Australian students to study overseas, and in 1999, 80 Griffith University students attended institutions overseas under the university's scholarship and exchange programs. A further 70 students will avail themselves of these opportunities this year. You, our graduates, are entering a new and exciting phase in which you will pursue your professional and personal ambitions. You're joining an elite group. Approximately only 12% of the Australian population aged 15 to 64 possess tertiary qualifications. Consequently, you should enjoy better employment prospects and higher salary levels than less well-qualified sections of our community. You may have a good head start, but it carries particular responsibilities. The labor market you are entering is characterized by increasing turbulence and competitiveness, and you may at some stage feel pressured to act solely in your own interests. But remember, however, that you are indebted, if not to your families and friends, then to society for the opportunity you've had to undertake university study. It's a debt best repaid by being responsible citizens and acting in the interests of others as well as yourselves. Griffith's graduates join an impressive company of people who have gone before you and have already achieved success and acclaim both in Australia and overseas. As our new graduates, you will, I'm sure, make an equal contribution. You've completed another important step in what will be a lifetime learning experience. You've demonstrated a command of the knowledge and skills necessary for your chosen field of endeavor, as well as a willingness to persist with the level of discipline needed for high achievements in any field. As we continue with this afternoon's proceedings, I express warm congratulations to each of you and extend to you our best wishes for your lives ahead. I'd now like to call on the deans to present the graduates from their respective faculties who are to receive their awards at this ceremony.
Chancellor, Professor David Moss, Dean of the Faculty of Arts.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Arts who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Arts, Shioni Afu. Sandy Ballard. Pamela Broadfoot. Peter Cottle. Tabitha Fairbairn. Gillian Fellberg. Rachel Healy. David Otto. Eve Ramsey. Andrew Seabrook. Reed Taylor. Claire Thompson. Nicole Tuhill. Liam Tucker. Renee White. Bachelor of Arts in Australian and Comparative Studies, Murray Grant. Robin Hull. Bachelor of Arts in Contemporary European Studies, Christopher Hawkins. Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Criminal Justice, Michael Carl. Craig Campbell. Erica Kirk. Tony Lohman. Daniel Mann. Janelle McLennan. Simone Nankervis. Jodie Parkinson. Jennifer Saker. Erica Short. Shane Turner. Kirsty Winter. Bachelor of Arts in Languages and Applied Linguistics, Mara Timoneri. Bachelor of Behavioral Science and Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Criminal Justice, Michelle Crocker. Leanne O'Neill. Bachelor of Communication, Monica Allenson. Aaron Beckhouse. Kane Borles. Sheridan Burnett. Tony Grouf. Matthew Hawkins. Jevon Lowe. Tegan Mason. Margaret McLennan. Kathy McMahon. Lucy Naiko. William Robinson. Vanessa Rosethorn. Tony Stanton. Anne Wang. Master of Arts with Second Class Honours, Division A, John Shaw. Master of Arts in Women's Studies, Wanjiku Joroge. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of the graduates from the Faculty of Arts.
Chancellor, Professor Marilyn McMenamin, Dean of the Faculty of Education.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Education who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Adult and Vocational Education, Gavin Bryce. Anne Cronin. Lynn Day. Betty Flowers. Danielle Heptonstall. Leanne Johnson. Wesley Shaw. Kenneth Shield. Scott Williams. Bachelor of Adult and Vocational Teaching, John Duncan. Bachelor of Arts, Rachel Gillespie. Andrew Phillips. Bachelor of Education, Alan Adams. Shane Anderson. Melanie Butel. Casey Buechler. Samantha Birchall. Danielle Carroll. Carolyn Checkley. Paul Crilly. Jeremy Duggan. Carla Edgar. Emma Fletcher. Joanne Gardner. Robin Grayson. Deborah Harding. James Jackson. Paul Jarman. James Jenkins. Donna Johnson. Kylie Johnson. Danielle Kent. Ashley Lees. Faye Lindsay. Sarah Jane MacDonald. Carly Maxwell. Kelly McLean. Anthony Mickle. Tracy Molinar. Astrid Nofke. Danielle Parks. Carleen Riggs. Jane Roberts. Shirley Robinson. Lauren Shaw. Leanne Stevens. Christine Wall. Graduate Certificate in Applied Linguistics, Gillian Doyle. Peter Hart. Graduate Certificate in Computer Education, Ron Thomason. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Education.
Chancellor, Professor Roy Rickson, Acting Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Sciences.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Environmental Sciences who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Engineering in Environmental Engineering, Mark Agnew. Bachelor of Environmental Planning, John Merrick. Bachelor of Science in Australian Environmental Studies, Melissa Bailey. Matthew Bartlett. Emma Blackford. Edward Burton. Stephen Carrick. Kay Kavanaugh. Paul Dubowski. Rod Eastwood. Debbie Farmer. Olga Howes. Lisa Hawk. Ben Hawkins. Barbara Joyce. Rupert Langford. Jingho Liao. Gabriel McGee. Samantha McMillan. Melissa McRoberts. Lisa Malloy. Matthew Nolan. Sarah Smith. Jackie Trumper. Rowena Warren. Meredith Woodland. Chris Wright. Bachelor of Science with First Class Honours in Australian Environmental Studies, Stephen Smith. Alicia Toon. Bachelor of Science with Second Class Honours, Division A in Australian Environmental Studies, Belinda Chapman. Thomas Nielsen. Graduate Certificate in Environmental Management, Jacqueline McGregor. Master of Engineering Science in Environmental Engineering, Colin Guttenswager. Julianne Whiteside. Master of Environmental Management, John Finglass. Tracy Hooper. Andrew Mason. Master of Science in Environmental Management, Jason Sprott. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Environmental Sciences.
Chancellor, Professor David Lim, Dean of the Faculty of International Business and Politics.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of International Business and Politics who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Arts in Asian and International Studies, James Chu. Barry Komisky. Roslyn Ling. Kim Maguire. Melanie Robertson. Kerry Tabata. Vanessa Tokairin. Mia van Hemmen. Bachelor of Arts with First Class Honours in Asian and International Studies, Rashida Islam. Bachelor of Arts in Japan Studies, Mark Pendleton. Bachelor of International Business, Wilson Chan. Lee Charles. Peony Chow. Helen Coyne. Helen Exley. Nicole Finnegan. David Huang. Shen Hung. Johnny Ite. Jane Lau. Dudley. Wendy Ling. Alan Liu. Victor Lowe. Andrew McCrae. Tamari Moore. David Scriber. Shen Fang Nen. Syed Manua Sondu. Carl Swiss. Asuka Takagi. Wang Mingyun. Susan West. Bachelor of International Business and Bachelor of Commerce, Danelli Booker. Lisa Cavallaro. Anita Di Rita. Seving Lomas. Marie O'Keefe. Nancy Roberts. Irene Tam. Graduate Diploma of Procurement Management, Mary Watt. Graduate Diploma of Public Sector Management, Stephen Conroy. Master of Arts in International Studies, Scott Downman. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of International Business and Politics.
Chancellor, Professor John Dewar, Dean of the Faculty of Law.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Law who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours, Vahid Chittleborough. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Arts, Rebecca De Varga. Sharon Lang. Bachelor of Laws with First Class Honours and Bachelor of Arts, Fiona Ring. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours Division A and Bachelor of Arts, Charles Elson. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours Division B and Bachelor of Arts, Adrian Braithwaite. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Commerce, Geoffrey Hall. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of International Business, Clinton Grieve. Bachelor of Laws with Second Class Honours Division B and Bachelor of International Business, Daniel Wigan. Bachelor of Laws and Bachelor of Science, Stephen Carcano. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates from the Faculty of Law.
Chancellor, Professor William McGillivray, Dean of the Faculty of Science.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Faculty of Science who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Aviation, Michael Greatrix. British Aerospace, Griffith University, Bachelor of Aviation, Benjamin Pickering. Bachelor of Biomedical Science, Paul Reekin. Layawa Salmaiwe. Shiva Sharma. Tonya Trubshu. Narissa Turton. Vanessa Vanderwerf. Bachelor of Science, Wayne Craven. Nathan Dark. Tony Harley. Michelle Judd. Vanessa Perry. Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics and Statistics, Trina Goff. Matthew Hodge. Sonia Neha. Hoong Trin. Bachelor of Science in Laser Science, Nathaniel Grutoff. Bachelor of Technology with Aviation, Peter Littlewood. Graduate Diploma of Clinical Biochemistry, Chris Bianco. Graduate Diploma of Clinical Physiology, Christopher Wheatley. Master of Aviation Management, Cheung Ho. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates of the Faculty of Science.
Chancellor, Professor Mostyn Bramley-Moore, Provost and Director of the Queensland College of Art.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Queensland College of Art who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Animation, Jisoo Kim. Roderick Wong. Bachelor of Design Studies, Marisa Comino. Sally Fitzgerald. Bill Foley. Lydia Franco. Nisha Solanki. Bachelor of Photography, Man Sun Chuang. Sarah Lipowitz. Claire McAllister. Clayton O'Brien. Bachelor of Screen Production, Carmen Hannay. Aisha Musalib. Bachelor of Visual Arts in Fine Art, Donna Cagney. Tracy Middleton. Lolita Valerga. Bachelor of Visual Arts with Second Class Honours, Division A in Fine Art, Vernon Arkey. Simone Eisler. Bachelor of Visual Arts with Second Class Honours, Division A in Photography, Jill Giles. Master of Digital Design, Bradley Stock. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates of the Queensland College of Art.
Chancellor, Professor Simone de Haan, Provost and Director of the Queensland Conservatorium.
Chancellor, I present graduates from the Queensland Conservatorium who have been granted the following awards. Bachelor of Music, Stacey Bolton. Su Hua Chen. Adrian Cohen. Nicole Davison. Bachelor of Music and Performance, Stuart Humphrey. Michael Manicus. Bachelor of Music with First Class Honours in Performance, Nathan Krug. Bachelor of Music Education, Gabrielle Deschamps. Brett Kavanagh. Master of Music, Music Theory, Sunju Song. Master of Music Performance, Barnaby Ralph. Master of Music Studies, Mei Su Chen. Hui Huan Lin. Cecilia Marchesella. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of graduates of the Queensland Conservatorium.
Ladies and gentlemen, there will now be a brief musical interlude performed by Hum Woo 2.
Followed by a lovely tune by John Coltrane called Naima. Thank you. Them that's God shall get, and that's not shall lose. So the Bible said, it still is new. Mama may have, Papa may have. God bless the child that's got his own, it's got his own. Yes, the strong gets more, while the weak ones fade. Empty pockets don't ever make their grave. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, that's got his own. You've got lots of friends crowding round the door, but when you're gone and spending and say don't come no more, rich relations give crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much. Mama may have, Papa may have, but God bless the child that's got his own, it's got his own. Crust of bread and such. You can help yourself, but don't take too much.
got heels on. That's got heels on.
Chancellor, Professor Dennis Lincoln, Deputy Vice-Chancellor Research, will now present a candidate for the award of University Medal. This will be followed by the presentation of candidates for the award of Doctor of Philosophy.
Chancellor, the University Medal may be awarded in recognition of academic excellence to a graduate who has completed the requirements for both a bachelor's degree of the university and a degree with first-class honours. Chancellor, I am pleased to present a graduate who has been granted the 2000 University Medal from the Faculty of Law, Vahid Chittleborough. Chancellor, I will now present candidates for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Today, the University is proud to honour graduates who have satisfied the rigorous criteria for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Arts. Dr. Corbière studied the tensions between corporate management and social democracy in the development of Queensland education. Chancellor, I present Dr. Cathy Ann Corbière. Dr. Rushton, from a study of the Fourth Gospel, offers a new interpretation for feminist theological interrogation and reflection. Chancellor, I present Dr. Sister Kathleen Patricia Rushton. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Education. Dr. Beer's study analysed contemporary Australian adolescent fiction and the impact it has on the ideologies of motherhood. Chancellor, I present Dr. Diana Nancy Beer. Dr. Keogh investigated the construction of written and verbal relationships between teachers and parents. Chancellor, I present Dr. Jane Keogh. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Environmental Sciences. Dr. McClashen investigated factors that have influenced genetic diversity in 3 species of Australian freshwater fish. Chancellor, I present Dr. Dugald James McClashen. Dr. Rogers developed an experimental model as an aid to understanding the ecology of rainforest arthropods. Chancellor, I present Dr. Dennis John Rogers. Chancellor, the following graduates have been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of International Business and Politics. Dr. Brunetto analysed the role and power of employees at different hierarchical levels to facilitate or hinder new policy implementation. Chancellor, I present Dr. Yvonne Olga Brunetto. Dr. McCarthy examined the management of foreign exchange transaction exposure in small and medium-sized enterprises in Australia. Chancellor, I present Dr. Scott David McCarthy. Chancellor, the following graduate has been granted the degree of Doctor of Philosophy taken in the Faculty of Law. Dr. Eero Ferula developed a different explanation of the role of administrative law by using a law in context approach. Chancellor, I present Dr. Jeffrey Paul Eero Ferula. Chancellor, that concludes the presentation of Doctor of Philosophy graduates.
With the authority of the Council, I shall now confer the degree of Doctor of the University. I call upon the Vice-Chancellor, Professor Roy Webb, to read the citation.
Chancellor, the Council of the University has resolved to award the degree of Doctor of the University to Mr. Chang Yo-Hui. Chang Yo-Hui was born on 13 January 1941 in Yunlin County in Taiwan. He obtained a degree from the National Tainan Teachers College in 1959 and graduated from the National Taiwan Normal University with a Bachelor of Arts in Childhood Education in 1964. From 1959 to 1969, he practiced in the field of education as teacher and Dean of Student Affairs at several elementary and junior high schools. He subsequently undertook further tertiary study, completing a Bachelor of Arts in Public Administration from Tankang University in 1971 and a doctoral program within the College of Political and Social Sciences at Spain's Universidad Complutense in 1973. During the 1970s, Mr. Chung worked in a variety of government positions, first with the Executive Yuan of the Republic of China, and later as a planning officer for the Commission of National Corporations in the Ministry of Economic Affairs. In working for the Commission of National Corporations, he occupied a number of key positions, including Section Chief and Director of the Personnel Office. His interest in human resource management continued with his appointment as Assistant Manager of the Personnel Department within the Taiwan Sugar Corporation in 1978. He made many significant contributions to the development of this department over the following years in his role as Deputy Director and Advisor. In 1988, Mr. Chung took up the position of Counsellor and Advisor within the Ministry of Economic Affairs, and in 1990 he was appointed as President and Chairman of the Taiwan Aluminium Corporation. In 1992, Mr. Chung returned to the Taiwan Sugar Corporation as President, and in 1995 he was appointed as Chairman. In these positions he was instrumental in coordinating and promoting multi-million-dollar trade and investment opportunities between Taiwan and Australia. In particular, Mr. Chung was responsible for initiating the company's sugar purchases from Queensland, a relationship which provided a tremendous boost to this state's economy during the 1990s. Taiwan is now importing up to 200,000 metric tonnes of sugar per annum at an estimated value of $100 million Australian per annum. Mr. Chung also played a leading role in overseeing the Taiwan Sugar Corporation's investments in piggeries in Queensland and feedlots in New South Wales, projects valued at $100 million Australian dollars. Mr. Chung's wealth of experience and distinguished career in business and the public service was recognised in 1997 when he was appointed to the senior government position of Secretary-General of the Executive Yuan, Republic of China. In this position, he continued to promote trade opportunities between Taiwan and Australia, leading a high-level delegation to Queensland, which included members of the Taiwan Power Company, China Steel Corporation and Taiwan Sugar. In 1999, Mr. Chung was elected as the Chairman of the Board of the Central Trust of China, an important arm of the Central Bank of China. More recently, he was appointed to the position of Minister of the State without portfolio of the Executive Wing, Republic of China, where his main duties are to assist the Premier of the Executive Wing and act as an expert advisor. Griffith University is particularly grateful to Mr. Chung for his significant contributions in fostering educational links between Taiwan and Queensland. Earlier this year, he established the Griffith University Taiwan Education Market Development Fund, which is designed to encourage Taiwanese students to undertake study at Griffith. The fund promotes the activities of the university in Taiwan and includes scholarships for students from Taiwan to study a variety of disciplines. It is fitting that Griffith University should honour Mr. Chung Yeo-Hui in recognition of his outstanding efforts in strengthening international trade, investment and educational opportunities between Taiwan and Australia. Chancellor, it is with the greatest pleasure that I present to you Mr. Chung Yeo-Hui for admission to the degree of Doctor of the University. Chancellor, it is now my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker. The guest speaker is the Honourable Justice Margaret McMurdo, who has been President of the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court of Queensland, since July 1998. Justice McMurdo has practiced law in Queensland since 1975. She joined the Public Defender's Office as a barrister in 1976 and became Assistant Public Defender in 1978. Justice McMurdo entered private practice in 1989 and was commissioned as a judge of the district courts in 1991. She was commissioned a children's court judge in 1993. Justice McMurdo has held appointments within several law bodies, including the Queensland Law Society's Law Reform Criminal and Family Welfare Legislation Committees. She was a founding member of the Serious Offenders Review Panel, a past president of the Women Lawyers Association of Queensland, and a part-time member of the Criminal Justice Commission's Misconduct Tribunal. Justice McMurdo was a member of the Litigation Reform Commission, Criminal Procedure Division, and the District Court Strategic Planning and Budget Committee. She was also convener of the District Court Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders Committee, and she is a member of the QUT Faculty of Law Advisory Committee. In addition to her distinguished career in the law, Justice McMurdo is a member of the Zonta Club of Brisbane, the National Trust of Queensland, the Nunda and District Historical Society, Amnesty International, the Women's Legal Service and UNIFEM. She is a foundation member of both the Queensland Library and the Queensland Art Gallery. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to call upon the Honourable Justice Margaret McMurdo to deliver this afternoon's occasional address.
Chancellor Ms Lenine Ford, Vice-Chancellor Professor Webb, Minister Dr Zhuang, members of the academic staff, distinguished guests, the most important people present, the graduates, ladies and gentlemen. It is always a delight to be part of such an exciting and happy occasion as a graduation ceremony and to bask in the intellectual, warm and energetic glow which emanates from new graduates. Congratulations to you all on your intellectual efforts, which are recognised with the conferring of your degrees this afternoon. I particularly congratulate the honours graduates, those receiving higher degrees, and the university medalist. Your parents, friends and supporters, many of whom are here today, also deserve some congratulations. It's important I say this because my sister and brother-in-law are in the audience to see their son and my eldest nephew receive his second degree. They, like many others of you, have earned their little bit of reflected glory this afternoon. On occasions such as this, I like to find out as much as I can about my audience. It tells me to whom I am talking and shows future directions. This afternoon, there are 478 eligible graduates, of whom 198 are men and 280 women. The highest number of women graduates, over 70%, is in education, followed by arts, music and art. There are roughly equal men and women graduates in environmental science, international business and politics and science. And I noted that there was one more PhD awarded to females than males, proportionally significant when there are only 9 recipients of this important and prestigious degree. Don't worry, this address is not to diminish the achievements of you wonderful male graduates, but simply to reflect and compare the changes that have already occurred as we look towards the future. 25 years ago, when I graduated in law from the University of Queensland, that law school was the only graduate law school in Queensland. Now there are 5. Interestingly, that was the very year this university opened its doors. In that quarter of a century, Griffith University has developed a reputation for excellence and innovation. Then, over the whole year, there were 76 law graduates, of whom only 13 or 17% were women. In commerce, there were 132 graduates from UQ, of whom 22 or 17% were women, and in economics, 124 graduates, of whom 24 or 19% were women. Though I do not have the statistics, I suspect that even then, women dominated the graduate numbers in education, arts, and perhaps music and art. It's disappointing that only a little under 30% of this afternoon's law graduates are women, but this is atypical and is probably only because of the small number of graduates in law this afternoon, just 14, the main graduation ceremony being earlier in the year. For many years now, across all law faculties in Queensland, there have been roughly equal numbers of male and female graduates. These statistics demonstrate significant changes in our society. First, there has been a substantial increase, both numerically and proportionately, in the number of female graduates. For far too long, women have been denied the opportunity to contribute fully, and the workforce and public life has been largely deprived of half its talent. We now recognise the powerful contribution of previously underestimated women artists like Grace Cossington-Smith and musicians like Fanny Mendelssohn and Clara Schumann, who posthumously are enjoying a wave of popularity. Women from all fields, not just law, have been encouraged by the fine example set by this university's Chancellor, Ms. Ford, who completed her degree as a young widow with 5 small children. She became in time a partner in a leading Queensland solicitors firm, but not content to merely enjoy the fruits of her labour, she established the Women Lawyers Association of Queensland, a support network and lobby group for women, which remains active today, 22 years later. Ms. Ford continued as a trailblazer as Queensland's first woman governor. She has certainly been a support and inspiration to me since we met 24 years ago when I was a young lawyer. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to publicly acknowledge that this afternoon and to embarrass her. Other outstanding female role models exist in arts, education, environmental science, international business and politics, science, art and music. Gender equity, the advancement of suitably qualified women, and the consequential influence of this on society will be an important factor in the development of the economic, social and political lives which you are now entering. The second positive trend demonstrated by today's graduates is the increase in the number of graduates generally. Although this ceremony is not traditionally the major one in the university year, 478 graduates are eligible to receive degrees this afternoon. At 6 p.m, this university has another ceremony for a similar number of graduates. Over the last 25 years, there has been an enormous increase in those completing tertiary education, and we are becoming a better educated society. Another noticeable trend that is already upon us is the concept covered by the new buzzword, globalisation. Last month, I attended an outstanding conference on the topic Globalising the Rule of Law, which was conducted by Griffith University's Key Centre for Ethics, Law, Justice and Governance. The seminar considered the impact of international law on sovereign nations, international human rights and humanitarian law, world trade and international security, defence and the rule of law. Globalisation probably began with the formation of the League of Nations and its successor, the United Nations. The ratification of various United Nations covenants and treaties by member nations and their consequential international involvement has furthered globalisation. The globalised economy has in many ways been forced upon Australia, perhaps to the at least short-term detriment of our primary and secondary industries. The IMF, the World Bank and the World Trade Organisation influence the capacity of people in all nations, not just Australia, to control economic decisions affecting their own futures. Multinational corporations thrive under globalisation and become more powerful, sometimes even than many sovereign states. The United States is more than ever the world's economic and political powerhouse. Globalisation is also brought home to us by vastly improved communications. The war in the former Yugoslavia, the horrors of the killing fields in Cambodia, and the successes and fears of our peacekeeping troops in East Timor are zoomed by satellite into our living rooms in sanitised reality, as we vicariously observe others' lives via satellite television from the comfort of our lounge room sofa. We can communicate almost instantly via the internet with anyone in the world who can type English and is connected to the World Wide Web. Affordable, fast, efficient aviation, a field in which Griffith University's science faculty has developed a special interest, has and will continue to shrink the world to the benefit of Australia, limiting the tyranny of distance. Of this afternoon's graduates, of whom 45 are overseas students, it is also significant that the majority, 29, are female. This confirms that globalisation is having an important and direct impact on life in Queensland. As we've heard earlier this afternoon, Griffith University is providing an internationally recognised and desirable educational product benefiting both the individual student and the Queensland, Australian and international communities. Many degrees are conferred to overseas graduates at overseas ceremonies. Next, the figures demonstrate that the involvement of women in positions of power and influence in society is not limited to Australia, but is a global phenomenon. Globalisation is also reflected in the range of degrees being conferred this afternoon. The university is not merely answering parochial needs, but is preparing graduates for a future not necessarily based in Brisbane, but for a working and thinking life anywhere in the modern world. The traditional degrees of arts, law and science are and will always remain essential offerings from the well-rounded university, but the variety of degrees now available at Griffith University confirms its positive response to globalisation. The Bachelor of Arts in Australian Comparative Studies, in Contemporary European Studies, Languages and Applied Linguistics, in Asian and International Studies, in International Business, in Japan Studies, a fascinating, complex and powerful country and culture, and one of great future power and influence. As Australians, or as someone educated in Australia, you have been privileged to be part of a democracy which recognises individual freedoms and rights, upheld by an independent judiciary, whose orders are enforced by an efficient and honest executive. This is not the position in many parts of the world. As you enter the globalised community, you should do what you can to ensure that globalisation brings with it not just improved economic conditions, but also the genuine recognition and enforcement of human rights. In this respect, we are proud of Australia's peacekeeping role with the United Nations in East Timor and elsewhere. the role of the modern Australian Army seems to be that of peacekeeper and diplomat, and may that long be so. I was interested to know how many Indigenous graduates are amongst the Australian graduates this afternoon, but these figures were not available. I had the pleasure of speaking earlier this year at a reconciliation forum organised by the Indigenous students at Griffith University. I was impressed with their energy, enthusiasm, public speaking, intellectual and organisation skills. Griffith University's Gumari Centre, headed by Ms Bonnie Robertson, who chaired the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Women's Task Force on Violence, is showing great leadership in the Indigenous and wider general community. The young Indigenous students I met from Griffith will, I think, follow Ms Robertson's fine role model and themselves contribute significantly to Australian and global society in diverse ways. Reconciliation within the Australian community and a greater understanding, appreciation and tolerance of Indigenous and other cultures has been and will continue to be an important characteristic of future Australian and indeed global society. And I note Nelson Mandela's magnificent example of this in South Africa. A related challenge that must be met is to ensure the rule of law, the understanding that the protection of our basic rights by the third arm of government, the judiciary, will be upheld, which we all enjoy and take for granted, has equal application to the lives of those residing in isolated Indigenous communities. We all recognise technological change as one of great significance for the present and future. I've already noted its influence on helping to turn the world into a global village. It's pleasing to see that this university has demonstrated by this afternoon's graduates and recognised and embraced this change. The Faculty of Education has awarded graduate certificates in computer education. I expect that every graduate this afternoon is computer literate. When I was a student, word processors were the cutting-edge technology. How wonderful it was to be able to correct a document without entirely retyping it. Word processors were only used by secretaries, invariably female. University students, especially women, did not generally learn to type. I say especially women because if young professional women were able to type, they were likely to be lumbered with secretarial rather than professional tasks. Nowadays, students learn computer typing skills at primary school, if not preschool, and expect to use those skills for life. This may change again as voice-activated word processing programs become more sophisticated, less expensive and more accessible. Nowadays, most students have access to their own PCs. They rely on the internet for research and to communicate with their lecturers and fellow students. Computers feature also in modern art, and I note the degrees being conferred today from the College of Art include Master of Digital Design and Bachelor of Animation. Those of you who have seen Toy Story 2 and Ants will have witnessed the amazing creative results of computer technology. In music too, computers are having a significant impact on the composition and presentation of contemporary works. It's encouraging to see so many graduates in environmental science, for it is to you that we look to provide answers to stop global warming, to ensure our cities are well-planned, efficient, attractive, unpolluted spaces, and that our rural areas do not suffer from soil degradation or our rivers from salinity and blue-green algae. At last, the world community is beginning to understand the need to nurture the environment which nurtures it, and that its degradation will be shared by humanity. And it is to you science graduates that we look to find solutions to medical problems of ageing, cancer, AIDS and other diseases, and to find new and improved ways of solving crime. DNA is used not only to convict, but also to establish innocence. I was shocked to learn on a recent trip to Chicago, Illinois, one of the US states which maintains the death penalty, that 13 executed convicted murderers have now been scientifically proved innocent. On a happier note, DNA is also used in creating beautiful images in the art world. I particularly mention the graduates with a special interest in biotechnology, a field in which Queensland is recognised as a world leader. It is commendable that the Education Faculty has embraced a commitment to lifelong education and learning for its own sake in offering the degree of Bachelor of Adult and Vocational Education, a course my young hairdresser tells me she is undertaking for just those reasons. We've had fascinating conversations on ethical dilemmas as she blow-dries my hair. The future in microcosm is you, this afternoon's graduates. An increased role of women in positions of power and influence in the paid workforce and public life, an increase in those participating in tertiary education, globalisation, reconciliation and tolerance of difference, technological and scientific change, and a commitment to lifelong learning. On occasions such as this, I like to adapt the analogy of one of my first employers, who likened the change from student to professional to that of caterpillar to butterfly. Not, of course, that I'm suggesting you're grubs. This graduation ceremony, then, is akin to the breaking out of the chrysalis as you tentatively prepare to spread those still moist wings and metamorphose into your new and wondrous life form. As you flutter off into the global community, remember that you have been privileged in this education, and that brings with it responsibility. Use your intellectual skills to provide responsible leadership with vision to effect positive change. Be successful, whatever that means to you, but always in an ethical way. The ethical decision is not always the easiest decision, but it is the right decision. The lawyers present know of your special ethical responsibilities to your clients, fellow practitioners, and to the courts. Find time for yourself and whatever gives you a sense of well-being. Time poverty, my 86-year-old mother tells me, has become the lament of the working person. At home and in the workforce, personal relationships remain precious in this fast-changing world. Find time for yourself, for those relationships, and for everything that gives you peace, contentment, spiritual satisfaction, and joy. Live your life. It's yours alone to live. But live it using your proven intellectual ability, ethically and through fair dealing, to create your vision for an improved world. May the gentle sun shine on you as you flutter through life's long and glorious journey. Thank you.
Chancellor, it's my pleasure on behalf of all of us this afternoon to thank our guest speaker for her address to all of us, but of course it was particularly to our graduates. Justice McMurdo remarked to me as we were sitting during the earlier part of the ceremony that we had a very wide range of graduates going through this afternoon, and she had some difficulty deciding how to address such a broad range of experience and prospective careers. Well, I think you'll all agree that Justice McMurdo has discharged that task extremely well, including an expert and I think unprecedented statistical analysis of the event. Well, I don't think we've had this before,
and I was jotting down some points out of our scorecard. I see we did pretty well in gender balance, but the Dean of Law will, I'm sure, be noting that only 30% of the law graduates today, at any rate, were female, and we'll have, maybe it doesn't reflect our normal balance, but we'll do better, Justice McMurdo. Women have, of course, been denied too long, she echoed, a theme very familiar to our university, as a university strongly committed to equity and to affirmative action and to gender balance. We don't always find it easy to achieve, but I can assure you, continue to work very hard at that objective, strongly entrenched as it is in our mission statement. Justice McMurdo referred to our recent Globalisation and the Rule of Law conference, and from that point took us into an interesting discussion of the globalised world into which our graduates will be moving, in sharp contrast, I think, to the experience of most of us in the 20th century. And I particularly noted her use of the phrase sanitised reality, that we get through the level of improved communicative devices we absorb these days, television, internet and so forth. And out there, of course, in this globalised world, there are still many challenges, many needs, not all being attended to through the systems that we're all engaged in, and all represent a great challenge to our students. The challenge of liberal democracy and the obligation that we have as graduates from Australian universities to understand liberal democracy and to do our part in ensuring that liberal democracy and human rights become more pervasive in our global society. The Gomurri Centre was mentioned by Justice McMurdo, and we share her pleasure in the achievements of that centre in leading Australian research on important themes. And we will find the statistics on Indigenous graduation numbers today, but maybe we haven't got any in this particular ceremony. All our graduates were mentioned, I think, in the course of a very wide-ranging and important address, for which we thank Justice McMurdo. And I would ask you now, ladies and gentlemen, to join with me in echoing that sentiment. Thank you. Justice McMurdo herself mentioned our new Chancellor, and I think it would be appropriate on the occasion of the first graduation ceremony at which our new Chancellor has presided, for us all to join in welcoming her to the University, in congratulating her on her appointment and wishing her every success with us. Finally, I always abuse this opportunity by offering personal congratulations to our graduates and wishing them every success in their globalised careers, and of course exhorting them to join the Griffith University Alumni Association. You have needed us, we now need you. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the ceremony is now concluded. When the music begins, please rise and remain standing as the dais and staff processions, along with the graduates, retire.